Urgent Minnesota Vikings fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Minnesota Vikings updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, Vikings fans, you're not going to want to miss what we have to talk about today. It's been an exciting week for the purple and gold, and it all centers around an unexpected signing that could have major implications for the team's future. Just when we thought we knew how the roster was shaping up for the 2025 season, the Vikings come out of nowhere with a move that's turning heads across the NFL community. So, sit tight, because what I'm about to tell you might just change how you see the Vikings' backfield this year. Now, before we dive into the specifics, let's set the scene. The Vikings, as you all know, have been in a bit of a transitional phase over the last couple of seasons. They've been trying to rebuild their defense, develop young talent on offense, and find that perfect mix to push for a playoff run. But one area that's been a point of concern and opportunity has been the running back position. The team has had some solid players, but there's been a search for that game changer, that consistent performer who can carry the load and take the offense to the next level. And that's exactly where this new signing comes into play. Just last Saturday night, after the 2025 NFL Draft wrapped up, the Minnesota Vikings made a bold move by signing a free agent running back named Trey Stewart. Now, who is Trey Stewart, you ask? Well, he's a name that might not have been on everyone's radar a few weeks ago, but his story is definitely worth knowing, especially now that he's donning the Vikings jersey. Trey Stewart hails from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and he's been making waves since his college days. Interestingly enough, he's a bit of an underdog story, having spent his first 3 seasons at NCAA Division II Limestone, where he showcased his talent and potential but didn't quite get the national spotlight. It wasn't until he transferred to Jacksonville State, a program competing at the FBS level, that his game truly started to shine. And shine it did. In his sole season at Jacksonville State, Stewart was nothing short of spectacular. He earned a first-team All-Conference USA selection, a huge deal, especially considering he was only there for 1 year. That kind of recognition doesn't come easy, especially in a competitive conference like Conference USA. Stewart's stats were eye-popping. He finished 8th in the entire FBS in rushing yards per game, averaging an impressive 117 yards on the ground every week. That's no small feat, especially for a player coming from a smaller school and transitioning to a higher level of competition. His production was consistent and explosive. Stewart racked up a total of 25 rushing touchdowns, which was the 3rd most in the nation, regardless of division. That kind of scoring ability makes him a serious threat in the red zone and a versatile back who can be relied upon in multiple situations. But what really stands out is his ability to break big runs. For example, he was named the Conference USA Co-Offensive Player of the Week after rushing for a season-high 232 yards and 4 touchdowns against Liberty, a dominant performance that showed he could carry the load and take over games when needed. And it wasn't just a one-hit wonder. Stewart had 3 games where he surpassed 200 rushing yards, including a game with 201 yards and 3 touchdowns against Western Kentucky in the Conference USA Championship. He also racked up 210 yards and a score in a matchup against Middle Tennessee. Those kinds of performances are what scouts and teams look for. They show a player with game-changing potential who can elevate an offense. In total, Stewart played 14 games with Jacksonville State, rushing for a total of 700 carries, amassing 616 yards, and scoring 49 touchdowns over his college career. He's a durable back, with experience in various offensive schemes, and he's been recognized for his vision, agility, and ability to pick up tough yards. His size, standing around 5 feet 10 inches, combined with his power and speed, makes him a perfect fit for the modern NFL running back mold. Now, why is this signing so significant for the Vikings? Well, beyond just adding depth, Stewart provides a fresh, explosive element to the backfield. The Vikings have always been a team that values versatility in their running backs, and Stewart's skill set fits perfectly with their philosophy. He can run between the tackles, catch passes out of the backfield, and has the speed to turn any play into a big gain. Plus, with the recent injury setbacks and aging of some of the team's previous backs, adding a young, talented player like Stewart is a smart move that could pay dividends down the line. This signing also signals the Vikings' commitment to building a more dynamic offense. With quarterback Kirk Cousins returning for another season, the team wants to establish a strong running game to balance things out and keep defenses honest. Stewart's college production shows he can handle a heavy workload if needed, and he's hungry to prove himself at the NFL level. It's the kind of move that excites fans because it hints at a more versatile, unpredictable offense that can adapt to any game situation. And let's not forget about the coaching staff's perspective. Head coach Kevin O'Connell is known for his offensive ingenuity and creativity. He's been working tirelessly to develop a scheme that maximizes his players' strengths. Bringing in a player like Stewart, who has a knack for making big plays and has shown resilience and adaptability, fits perfectly within that vision. It's about building a roster with high upside talent, and Stewart's story is all about potential, raw, untapped, and ready to be molded into a key piece of the puzzle. Of course, there's always a bit of uncertainty when a player makes this kind of leap from college to the NFL, especially coming from a smaller school and a less traditional path. But Stewart's college achievements, particularly his ability to perform under pressure and produce at a high level, give plenty of reason for optimism. The Vikings weren't just looking for a warm body to fill a roster spot. They see in Stewart a player with the tools and mindset to contribute immediately and develop into a mainstay in their backfield. Now, what does this mean for the current roster? Well, it's likely that Stewart will compete for a significant role, possibly even push some of the incumbent backs for playing time. The Vikings have a solid core of running backs, including Alexander Mattison and Ty Chandler, but adding Stewart creates healthy competition and depth, which is crucial for sustained success throughout a long season. It also gives the coaching staff more flexibility in how they rotate players, especially in situational football, third downs, red zone, goal line situations, and game-changing plays. Looking ahead, the Vikings' offense might see some interesting developments. With Stewart's ability to break off big runs, defenses will have to be wary of him, which could open things up for receivers and the passing game. This addition also underscores the team's focus on building a balanced, explosive attack that can adapt to whatever challenges the NFL season throws their way. And as fans, we should be excited. This isn't just about filling a roster spot, it's about adding a player with a chip on his shoulder, a hunger to prove himself on the big stage, and the talent to do so. If Stewart can transition his college success to the NFL, he could become a fan favorite very quickly, a true blue-collar back who fights for every yard and makes big plays when it matters most. But let's step back and look at the historical context of the Vikings' running game. Over the years, the team has had some legendary backs, from the great Adrian Peterson, who defined an era, to recent players like Dalvin Cook, who brought home numerous highlights and playoff moments. The team has always valued the running game as a cornerstone of their identity, and this signing seems to be a continuation of that tradition. With the NFL increasingly becoming a passing league, having a reliable, versatile running back remains crucial for balance, clock control, and setting up big plays. In terms of the team's overall strategy for 2025, this move suggests that the Vikings are serious about re-establishing their ground game as a threat. They want defenses to respect the run, which will open up passing lanes and give Kirk Cousins more options. It's about creating a more unpredictable offense, a team that can beat you through the air or on the ground, depending on what the situation demands. Now, of course, all eyes are on how Stewart adapts to the NFL pace and physicality. The transition from college to pro football is never easy, and players often need time to adjust. But the Vikings coaching staff is known for their ability to develop talent and maximize player potential. They've got a solid track record of turning promising players into key contributors, and Stewart's work ethic and college production suggest he's ready to take that next step. Fans are also wondering about how this signing will fit into the team's overall roster construction and salary cap. It's a prudent move, especially if Stewart can develop into a consistent performer. Plus, adding a player like him at this stage of the offseason gives the team flexibility to make further moves, whether through draft picks or other free agent signings, to round out the roster. Looking at the broader picture, the Vikings front office and coaching staff are clearly trying to build a team that can contend for a Super Bowl. The NFC North is getting tougher every year, with teams like the Lions, Packers, and Bears all making significant moves. Having a versatile and explosive running back like Stewart could be just the piece they needed to push them over the edge, especially in close games. And don't forget about the fan reaction. Vikings fans are known for their passion and keen eye for talent. Many are already excited about Stewart's potential, comparing him to some of the underrated backs that have made a name for themselves in the league. The hope is that he can come in, learn the system quickly, and become a reliable weapon that defenses will need to account for on every play. So, to sum it all up, this signing signifies the Vikings' commitment to building a versatile, explosive offense that can adapt and overcome tough defenses. It's a move that highlights their focus on developing young talent and creating a balanced attack. And for fans, it's a breath of fresh air to see the front office making bold moves that show they're serious about competing at the highest level. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering what this means for the upcoming season. Will Stewart get immediate playing time? Will he be the starting back? That remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure, he's going to bring energy, determination, and a fresh perspective to the Vikings' backfield. It's a story worth following as training camp approaches and the team prepares for what promises to be an exciting season. And now, Minnesota Vikings fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this signing? Do you see Stewart making an immediate impact, or do you think he'll need some time to develop? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Vikings community. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, breaking news, and deep dives into everything Vikings. So stay tuned for all the latest Minnesota Vikings news, because this season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory.